is the On Call Podcast. Your home for sports, news, pop culture, tech, and the obscure. And of course, your host, Michael Myers.
Been drinking Kool-Aid jammers like I did when I was 9. Cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie.
Ooh, buddy. You know, this is the On Call Podcast. If you know, you know. And
This is the special debate episode.
yeah, this is actually an episode I never anticipated us having. It's, it's hard to formulate all the thoughts and everything going on with it. I will say this. It's hard to call it a presidential debate because that was...
I will say it's not that surprising, though. I mean, could have been pretty much predicted. It went a little bit more extreme than I imagined, but yeah.
Joe called some names that I didn't anticipate. You know,
What were they?
Clown was one of them.
Oh, man.
Racist.
I feel like you should have called him just a straight up moron.
I feel like if that debate would have went another 35 minutes or so, it devolved to that because it was at a certain point, you don't even know who is telling any truths whatsoever.
No. Wait, don't bust both sides of this bullshit. I mean, but I want to ask something. How would you debate Trump? What would be your tactic? Because you know what he does. He's just like attacks over and over, talks over you, obviously, and just like says a bunch of bullshit. And then when you ask him, like what he like anything about for him to provide like any sort of facts about anything, he just says many people, which obviously doesn't mean shit.
I had to actually go back. Once you brought up doing a debate episode, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to at least know what's being said. And I kept coming back to that. Many people, everyone tells me, even some of your people, Joe, tell me they like what I'm doing. You're not doing it right. You're too weak. I'm strong.
Yeah, but let's keep this dispassionate because I don't want to get upset about it. I don't want other listeners to get upset about it. But yeah, we've known that he does that for a really long time. But what would be your strategy to debate Trump?
To win, I would probably do a lot of what he does just to try to sway his voters. It's not that that's right, but if you just start throwing lies and complete fabrications and just start really talking trash, that seems to it resonates with his base. So
Well, you can't lie because then they're going to call you out on it for months and months.
we call him out on it, and nothing's changed.
Well, he's president, but yeah, strategy for him, especially when you can't just straight up do the same thing where he talks over because he's just going to keep doing it more and more, and he looks like an idiot when he's doing it.
I think Joe did fairly well in towing the line of a little bit of snide remarks. When Donald Trump was talking trash and was calling Joe's son a coke addict, I don't know if I could have held my cool the way that Joe did there. Because that is just a pure attack on you and your family that had no political motivation there. That was just to hurt somebody. So I'm hoping that swayed some people's that's not very classy.
I have some opinions about Joe. Number one, he's not a very good debater. He's like medium to medium bad when it comes to debating. I'm not saying I could do any better because obviously, but
you don't have 50 years of experience, so yeah. Why would you do any better?
He's like just so. He's not very good. Trump's not good either. He's just an idiot. But Joe, he needed to. There was plenty of times where he should have shown passion where he didn't.
He's very milquetoast.
Yeah, he's just not a great orator, and that's okay. I'm sure he would be a good president. But with Trump, I feel like you really just have to call him out and just say, no one believes what you're saying. He did say that quite a few times. You're lying, but just be like, you're an idiot, and no one believes what you're saying. But then also, there's plenty of times where he could have gotten extremely passionate. I feel like he should have. He was very neutral and centered and calm, and I think that's good too. But I feel like I would have gone the other way with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Not being passionate is very Joe Leno. You're going for the masses.
Yeah, talking about how COVID like it kills people and stuff. I'd be like, really? Like, are you? This is how many people it's killed? And then, God, I would have see. He's and a lot of Democrats they sort of take the high road, and I think that was a great strategy before, but I feel like you just can't do that anymore. Not with Trump. You need to take the low road and just attack him over and over and over again. And he's still going to talk over you, but it doesn't make a difference. I mean, you can't beat him in that sense. Of course, he's just going to keep running his mouth. And even what was the moderator was
Chris Wallace.
Yeah, it was making comments about him. And Biden did have some good points, but yeah, I feel like you just got to attack him. Just attack and attack and attack.
It's to the point, I think the moderator is going to have to be able to mute the people talking because...
Oh, he absolutely should.
It's just a lot of the points were, they just devolved into nothing. And the whole message gets lost. The talks of protest just turned into pure attacks on both sides. The economy talks.
But don't both sides this though, because really it was all because Trump was doing that and Biden was trying to come back a little bit,
Yeah, it was Trump kept blasting Joe. Joe lets Trump give his 2 minutes with nary a thing, and not 5 seconds into Joe's retort. Oh, lies. Nope, it's not true. DT, man. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to. I don't know all of all of Joe's points. Give him a chance to lose my vote, and he wouldn't let it do that.
Well, you got to realize that Trump is coming from a place where, he said a bunch of really stupid shit, and he's done a bunch of stupid stuff. So he really just has to attack, and then confuse and just if you actually analyze the stuff that he's saying, he doesn't actually really say anything. And then when he does, he just has many people say. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's a textbook narcissist. And I feel like for me, that would be my attack on him. You're a narcissist, and you're the most dangerous person to elect during a pandemic. And so, I understand, you wanted to upset the system, but this is your life that you're gambling when you do that. So
he could not stop fucking interrupting.
Well, it's a strategy.
I realize that he couldn't stop interrupting. And the biggest attack that Joe did to Donald was call him a racist. And that's the one time that he couldn't say, no, I'm not. He had a chance to denounce the KKK and the Proud Boys, and he did not denounce them. He never once said they were bad, anything. Instead, what did he do?
Well, no,
he
when he does
Antifa.
When he does that, he'll say, yeah, they should probably stand down, but, and then he'll go on to the next thing.
But it's all your people, Joe. It's all your left.
What do they call it? Obfuscation? I can't remember.
Obfuscation.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen enough of his debates to know what his strategy is now. I feel like, there's smarter people than me that are Joe's debate team. They should have fully analyzed everything and just straight up attacked him.
I think after learning, because they make the agreements beforehand. So everyone agrees to these stipulations before you do a debate. And he didn't stick to a single fucking one. So I
Well,
imagine this next one is going to go.
No one expected him to stick to anything. I mean, come on, just look at his past experience. And if you think that he might, it's your fault because he's clearly shown you who he is at this point. But you just can't, at this point, you just can't follow those rules anymore. You need to play by the Trump playbook.
Even the tax thing, I don't think he cleared himself of that. Mr. 750. How infuriating is that as a regular person to know that you're paying more fucking taxes than the president?
It depends who you are, right?
Yeah, it must be great to be a billionaire and pay people to get you out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right. He blamed Obama and Joe for making the law that let him do it, right?
He did do that.
Yeah.
And he blamed Obama and Joe on, I have that written down. Oh, he still doesn't believe in fucking climate change, and that's.
Well, he said there was many. He said he did what he does is non-answers where he
blamed the forest. He blamed the forest floor was the fault.
Well, yeah, he does. He does that. He but that's he 1/4 admits it, but redirects it to other things so that you can't really stick to it. You know, he's really good at that. But it's just at this point we've seen him do it so many times. It's very, very predictable. So
you know what he's going to say. So you can't even ask him anything.
You can, and what he'll do is he'll 1/4 admit it, but then redirect it onto 3/4 other things. So it doesn't actually say anything.
So speaking of the tax cuts, the big business one that he benefited the most from was one of the ones that he'd already signed into effect for his companies. So he blamed Joe and Obama for some of the tax cuts that weren't Joe and Obama's fault.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything he says is just... Have you ever known a narcissist? I've only known one. And he was not anywhere near like Trump.
When she's drinking, she's a lot like him, actually.
Who? Oh, the one you know?
The one I know.
Oh, but not drinking?
Much lesser extent, but similar tendencies.
Is it deep down? They just hide it better when they're sober?
Yeah.
Are you talking about your ex?
Yep.
Okay, right. Well, yeah. So, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, so...
But when she's drinking, that is how it is. Everything you say, she'll bring up all the past, and then if you admit your past, she'll stick to that. And then if you catch her in a lie, complete detraction from what was just said to her previous point where she felt she was right.
Right. So let's go over narcissism, because this is really, I feel like, the center of Trump. I'm going to go over narcissistic personality disorder. It's a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. That feels a little bit, I mean, obviously I don't know any about that, but I feel like the root of it is a lack of empathy for others. So they don't understand if they attack you, what you're feeling. So for me, if I was to, say something insulting to you, like you're, an asshole or something, I'd be like, well, what would that feel like if he called me an asshole? And I wouldn't like it. So I wouldn't want to say that to you. They don't have that. They don't have that empathy, like that ability to understand what it would be like to receive what they're doing. And I don't know like what part of the brain that is affects that, but it gives them a big advantage over people when it comes to certain things.
Like running a business.
The problem is that for running a business, it's an advantage in the sense like they're good at sales, they're good at manipulating people, but they're not good. There's a lot of aspects of business that they're also not good at, which is like, realizing that their thought that they had is wrong and listening to somebody else who has something good advice, because in that immediate moment, they don't want to appear weak.
Right.
And so that's a huge disadvantage. But they are very, very good when it comes to communications and I feel like manipulating people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's good at he can't read a room. He can't. Oh, I'm trying to find a strength in him.
A strength in Trump? Let's go over them.
And
He's
that
funny.
concludes.
Number one, he's funny. No. He is funny. He's funny. I'm going to have to say he is funny. When he, like, some of the stuff he was saying tonight, I was laughing. And not because I was laughing at him. It's just because it was funny.
Well, he had a your number 2 joke, but it was like, all right, that's kind of, it wasn't deep enough for me. I would have laughed had I been 10 years younger.
Another thing is he kept the exact same calm temperament through the entire thing. Everything that he said and got like where he was talking over people, he doesn't give a shit about that. He was just doing it because of like the debate.
Yeah,
he
doesn't have to get loud because he's just going to talk over. He's going to keep talking till the other guy's done anyway, so he can get the last word in. I've never seen him laugh because I'm going to last longer.
I've never seen him laugh. I've never seen him having a single emotion. That's power when it comes to manipulating people.
He could probably be a fucking great poker player.
Yeah, totally.
That's my biggest endorsement for Trump I could ever give you.
Except for the ability to like improve, like the ability to like take feedback from somebody. Everything is like, I can't show any weakness, that type of stuff, which is, I think, a huge weakness. The ability to realize that you're wrong and improve on something, I feel like is huge when it comes to getting better at something.
But generally in politics, if you learn a new aspect of what you're doing and you admit fault before and you change directions, you get called a flip-flopper and it's shown as a sign of weakness and not strength, how it should be.
Yeah, because Trump said, Fauci said that people shouldn't wear masks, and and then he didn't say that, and I'm like, yeah, because he got presented with new evidence. Obviously he's just. But here's one of the symptoms of narcissism: insist on having the best of everything. That's obviously clearly a Trump thing. He's got the best brain. He's got the best. No one has better. The relations with China. No one has better than this. Whatever happened to the trade war, by the way? Did we win that, or is it? And did the wall get built, or I forgot about those things.
We are losing greatly in the trade war because that's one of the reasons we still have a huge aluminum shortage.
Yeah, and so, but Trump, when he's public facing, he never shows any emotions. But a lot of these narcissism traits are emotional. But I've heard, a lot of the reporting about him, like behind, like off camera and off recording, are good examples of this traits. But yeah, have difficulty regulating emotions, become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment, easily feel slighted, secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. I love that. But how does he handle just walking out around with his hair? I mean, I guess the insecurity thing is like, he still gets like the tanning and stuff. Like,
he's probably, bro. He has to feel really good about his hair. He spent $70,000.
So no, 70,000. I thought it was like 750,000.
70,000 in tax write-offs.
Right, yeah.
So who knows?
Makes him smart, right?
Then again, his daughter might be going down, buddy.
Yeah, no, don't ever think that any of the Trumps are going down. I think they will. If not after this election, the next one. Do you know how old he is?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be truly brought to justice.
No.
I do feel like he will get arrested. No, but I think he'll die before trial.
He's not going to get arrested.
You think he's going to get pardoned?
There's no guarantee that he even loses this election, dude.
I realize that, but he can only do 8 years.
Right.
Unless he becomes king, in which case, all hail.
In which case, delete this episode. All right. Causes. It is not known what causes narcissistic personality disorder. Of course, we don't know what causes all that shit. And in fact, a cause, I mean, it could be a genetic. Okay, so they're just suggesting it could be environment, genetics, or neurobiology. We don't know, so I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, we don't even know what causes depression, and that's one of the major causes of.
We do know that it is you're more likely to have it if your parents have it. So we do know it's partially genetic.
It's a big serotonin thing. So if you can't even nature versus nurture is just so fucking crazy.
It's because we don't fully understand how the two things interact and what the quantity of each is. We just know it's both.
We are barely out of medieval times as far as understanding the human brain.
I know the computer was invented what? Okay, now I got it was like the 60s. I wanted to say like 30, 40 years ago, but it's actually like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So the debate was a shit show. And I'm curious what Ask Trump supporters will say, but I don't want to get on there because I know they'll defend it and show that he was actually, it was his strategy all along. So, I like that Joe was like, his last message was just telling people to vote, get out there, vote, just fucking vote. It doesn't matter, vote. And that's what it should be.
Nicole let me turn it on. I was surprised about that. I was going to watch it on the computer.
Oh, nice.
And she made
what did she say?
She made it like 2 3/4 minutes before she fell asleep.
Oh, wow.
What's crazy is she will spend a lot of time reading about it and reading about all the shit that's getting said, but still has no desire to vote or...
Because she hasn't been negatively affected.
And that's what I feel like a lot of it is, like the people who don't believe in the racism going on in the country right now. Yeah. I'm in a very white area now.
No, I don't. I don't experience any of that stuff. I mean, I'm white, so
I'm
but
sitting in my ivory tower, I realize I get treated better. I've seen myself get treated better by regular average Joe. You don't think that a person with power is going to treat someone that they feel like they're better than differently?
Well, it's just that, I mean, even regardless of racism, Trump being elected, how has it directly impacted me? It's hard to realize it because it's, decisions that they're making up there that, affect you sort of not in real time. So unless it's hard to really realize, get directly affected. And when you're directly affected, that's when it really motivates you.
That's why people should vote in their local elections a lot more and concern themselves with that and the closeness. Because the more people you vote the way that you want things run locally, that eventually shit rolling uphill. Like your mayor leads to your rep leads to your senator leads to the, everything above.
Yeah, it's hard. It's just hard to know how things are directly affecting you until it does. I mean, that's what they say about video editors. I mean, I guess I don't know if this is a good example or not, but there are two types of people who have never lost a hard drive and people who back up. So the only reason that you don't back up is because you never lost a hard drive. And then when you do, you then back up. So if you're against Trump and you're not voting, it's just because you haven't felt that pain of
yeah, I think it tracks.
But the problem is that you'll slowly feel that pain for, the next generation or the rest of your life just because of the Supreme Court justices.
There's I'm going to look it up. It was during the World War I, I think. There it is. Oh my goodness. Stupid Windows. Oh, you know what? I got things to talk with you about. Not democracy related.
Okay.
So a very popular, I wouldn't say it's a poem, but it's called First They Came. So it's first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. I feel like that's where it's going to get to.
No, that's a very good saying, poem, whatever.
Holocaust Memorial, yeah.
But yeah, it's just like if there's not equality for Black people, then there's just not equality
Exactly.
in general. So regardless of what you are, because I mean, yeah, then there's not equality for other things. Like, yeah, pretty much. That's a good poem.
And I do think that DT thrives on the hostility from the riots and the protests and everything. He wants that unrest because if they're focused on that, they can't focus on the shit that he's doing.
Well, if you look at the fascism playbook, right? Let's bring it up.
Oh yeah, so he defunded the police because he knows how to keep people safe.
So there's a couple things.
He made the private police, right?
Oh god, the special police. Yeah, without doing a bunch of research and having to read this, I'm going to tell you some of the things I know off the top of my head that exist within fascism that are like part of the playbook. Painting a common enemy. That's the immigrants. They're coming to take your jobs. They're the reason. Mm-hmm. That's a huge one. Oh yes, divisiveness. Obviously, you have to divide because you can't have like some sort of middle ground. So he attacks Democrats as extreme. They're not just people; they're extreme. What does he call them? The far left radicals. Right. Yeah. Okay. What are some of the other things? I do actually have to look at this right now. Oh, it's too much.
I know something that doesn't. I mean, it doesn't affect you directly now because you're only 47. Healthcare.
35.
The healthcare aspect. Does your company offer you? You have a pretty good healthcare plan, right?
Well, I mean, good in quotations. Like I have it, but I have to. If I want the good plan, I have to pay a bunch of money. And then I won't use it. So I use the crappy plan. And then if I need it, it costs a bunch of money. So either way, it costs a bunch of money. But I don't have a family. If you have a family, it costs like a shitload of money. So yeah, the fact that like healthcare is tied to employers is so dumb. And anyone listening to this podcast agrees. So I'm not going to try to convince them.
I can't believe the amount of people that are against a more socialized healthcare system because the privatized system.
Only the conservatives are against it for other people. They want it for them, just not for other people. Because they have this idea that other people are taking advantage of it, but they really need it. It's like disassociative bias or something. I can't remember the name.
They fail to realize that their insurance costs more money per month than it would cost them if everyone had it.
Yeah, but then if you tell that to them, they're like, yeah, but the wait times will be longer or something. I don't know. They're actually, if you debate a conservative or a Republican or a Trump supporter, I'm going to just say Trump supporter or apologist, whatever, about healthcare, it's actually a place where you can find sort of a common ground because even they want better healthcare. And Trump's like things about like, oh, we're going to bring down the price of medicine by like 80%, he said tonight or something. It's just like, does anyone actually believe that? Or
90. Now he did say he didn't dispute that pre-existing conditions were going to be on there. So if you have a pre-existing condition, i.e. COVID, which is, several million people, if you have ever been pregnant, it will then be considered a pre-existing condition because you're higher at risk for high blood pressure, diabetes,
but like my friend said, ignore what Trump says and just pay attention to what he does. What he says means literally nothing.
Yeah, basically.
So, no, 100%. He just says it in the moment. And that's part of the narcissism.
You can really tell when he gets caught and is trying to...
It's every second because he literally has said something stupid and counterintuitive, like for everything he says. He's just winging it, but he's good at winging it. I will say that, but he's always winging it. So what?
But
Good at
is he
winging
good
it?
at because
Yeah. What would somebody?
To
What
a
would you say?
weaker-
What would you say if I was like, you just said last week that you hate black people, and now you're saying that you don't hate them? What would you say?
when you're fighting someone, you have to stay on point. You can't let them off the hook. So when he tries to detract, when people give up and they let him do that, that's their fault.
Yeah, but how do you do it? He just keeps redirecting, and then he attacks. It's not easy. He's not like
It's
that. The
hard to-
idea that he's dumb. He has a mental disorder. He's not dumb, but he kind of is. But he has like a disorder. But that disorder makes him good at certain things.
People letting him
One
off
of
the
those
hook
things
when
is
he's
coming
caught
up.
is the problem.
Well, what are you supposed to do? Like, that's what I'm saying. What would you do in that debate to be
You
different?
stay on point. Don't give up your point. When you have him, keep him caught.
So that would consist of just saying the same words over and over again because he's just going to attack you, and then you have to respond to that attack.
You don't have to respond to that. Most of his attacks are lies anyway. Why? If you try to dispute his lies, all you're doing is giving those lies credence. Because if someone attacks you and you try to defend that completely ridiculous attack, people are going to think about, oh, well, did he make it up? Because so many politics are lies. If you have to stop your point, you're gonna lose out because you're immediately on the defensive, and now he's off the hook for his defense for being
That's
caught.
true, and I think Joe should not have responded to as many things that Trump was saying tonight. He seemed to get a bit defensive in areas, I feel like he should have just continued to attack.
He had him on the ropes a couple of times with the racism talk. That's where he should have been. He should have used his passion because he had some very Martin Luther King points that he was talking about: nonviolence, transparency for the cops. You know, he did really well in saying, not all cops are bad. They're bad apples, and the good apples hate seeing those bad apples. Bring more transparency. Bring groups together. Talk about what needs to be done.
Yeah, to me that seems like that sounds great, but I want to hear specifics. Like, yes, day I get elected, we're gonna institute change, and we have a whole set of policies we're gonna do, and like specific things. But when he's like, we're gonna bring a bunch of people together, and we're gonna figure out how to do it, I'm just like, that sounds like great, but is that gonna happen?
You
You're gonna
can't
have
bring
5,000 other things to do.
I don't think you can even bring that up in a debate. Like that's part of your 100-day plan. That's not debate day.
I would just be specific. Like, yes, me and my team have spent countless hours figuring out exactly how we're going to do this. And this is my day one priority, blah, blah, blah.
He should have focused more on it, but then he did go into the attack of calling him a racist, which I thought was a brilliant point, considering that was the one time that Trump really should have disputed something hard right there, and he didn't.
I mean, he is a racist, and a lot of his supporters are too. I mean, even if they're like, we're not racist. I mean, like, come on, it's hard,
The only answer if someone calls you a racist should be, "Fuck no, I'm not a racist." That's it.
Yeah.
If you have to say, "Well, I'm not racist," but you're a racist.
I mean, everyone has a bias based on experiences that have happened to them, but if you can recognize it and you can understand it, there's power in that. But obviously he doesn't give a fuck. But I love how his supporters are, just like a lot of them are blue collar, poor, rural. Oh, that was one good quote I like.
They're dirt collar.
Where he's like, Trump talked about like understanding suburbia, and Biden was like, you wouldn't know suburbia if you took a left and found it, or if you took the wrong left turn. And I thought that was funny.
And it's so true. Only someone who's given $1 million loan and
$1 million. Oh, right. Yeah. The small loan of $1 million. Oh, wait, $480 million given.
Yeah. It was, it's crazy. They've done the math on it. It's like, if he just would have put that in the bank, he'd have more money than he does now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, that was another one. Yeah. Oh, 100%. He's terrible. And his narcissism is a key indicator. I mean, God, That's how he's like ruined so many businesses. But oh, the loan thing. Fuck. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, the caboose of the train's coming off the rails. Oh, what else? Oh, yeah, that's why I took notes, man. That's why I took notes. So it does concern me, healthcare wise. As a healthcare worker, cutting the Affordable Care Act is going to just doom countless amount of people. I did not realize that they had a plan brought forth to give PPE to all the children in schools. But that was just truly the right wing saying no because they don't need masks because this is not a national emergency. What the fuck is a national emergency if not a global pandemic?
I don't know, man. I think he sort of doesn't want to like upset like anybody that supports him. So he's got it's really tough for him to, make a stand on anything.
Trump already didn't win the popular vote last time he ran.
I know, and this is the biggest issue, with the damn electoral college.
Fucking garbage.
I mean, why would the most people not? I just don't understand why the popular vote's not the deciding factor.
Of what's being told now, whoever wins Florida wins the election this year.
Oh, really?
They said if Trump wins Florida, he's got like a 78% chance of winning the election. And if he loses Florida, he's got a 38% chance of winning the election.
And I want to say that those are just probabilities. So if he wins Florida, he could still lose. So regardless of what happens, regardless of who declares winning, regardless of whatever happens, just fucking vote.
Vote.
Just vote. Just make sure you vote. And then if anyone needs a ride, give them, make sure they vote too. And then if you have people that in your life that are like, I'm not going to vote, fucking whatever you have to do to get them to vote. Because Trump, he only lost the popular vote by 3 million. It's actually really not that much. But there's been elections where people have lost by just a few votes. Like, just vote. Like, show up, and if Trump loses, make him lose by a ton. But just make sure that he does lose. So don't be complacent. Fucking vote.
He lost by 3 million votes, but didn't only like 97 million people vote in the election, or 86 million, which means 5%. That's a lot of percent.
A huge part of the Republican strategy is to have people. Right, exactly. Because the less people that vote, the better they do. Because conservatives always vote.
Right.
So
this is the first election in history where the younger generation outnumbers the older generation.
And the younger generation is notorious for not voting because and it's not because there's anything wrong with them. And I didn't vote when I was young. It's just, you just don't know how it affects you.
Ignorance is bliss.
I do know that his whole strategy is to divide, and that's not good. I mean, regardless of what side you're on, having a purely divided America just doesn't sound like that great.
We're the United States.
He said, I love how he said he's done more for black people than anyone except maybe Abraham Lincoln. That was funny.
How much of a tool can you be? And then he's
the best at everything. That's the narcissism. He's the best at everything.
He's had the gall to pretty much he's called Obama a racist.
Let's look up all the things Trump has said he's the best at.
Listen, I have a segment coming. Dumbest tweets.
Oh, is Covfefe the number one, or?
Oh,
I like when and Trump. Wait, Joe Biden brought up something today, and Trump was like, "Oh, that was a joke." I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's like, do you remember what that was? He said I was being sarcastic.
Damn it! No, it was towards the end though.
He
said it twice. He got called out, and he's like, "Oh, that was not what I didn't mean it." Well, the suckers and losers was one of them.
I can't remember what. Yeah. Right. Wait, no, it was something else. But he's like, yeah, it's like Oh, you're gonna. Oh yeah, injecting the bleach. Right.
Ah,
Or yeah. And the UV light, injecting the UV lights or the bleach. I can't remember. It's like,
Yep. Why don't you go
it's like,
inject
first
some
off,
bleach?
no, you weren't being sarcastic. And number two, you think this is a good time to be sarcastic when like, and it's like, oh, I was just being sarcastic. This is perfect strategies. Anytime he says something wrong, he's like, oh, I was just joking.
I didn't mean
Okay,
it.
bro.
Uh,
Okay. Here's a list of everything that Trump says he knows more about than anybody. Okay. Campaign finance. I think nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do. TV ratings. I know more about people who get ratings than anyone. ISIS. I know more about ISIS than generals do. Social media. I understand social media. I understand the power of Facebook maybe better than almost anybody. Courts. I know more about courts than any human being on earth. Lawsuits. Who knows more about lawsuits than I do? I'm the king.
yeah.
Politicians. I understand politicians better than anybody. The visa system. I probably don't have to keep reading these, but I will promise you there's a quote saying that he's the best at it. The visa system, trade, the U.S. government, renewable energy, taxes,
He said
debt. I'm the king of debt. I'm great with debt. Nobody knows
renewable
debt.
energy. He's also the one that said windmills are the reason bald eagles are dying.
Money. I understand money better than anybody. Infrastructure. Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. Senator Cory Booker. I know more about Cory than he knows about himself.
Like, bro.
Borders. Democrats. Construction. The economy. I think I know about it better than the Federal Reserve. Technology. Nobody knows about technology more than me. Drones. I know about drones than anybody. Drone technology. Nobody knows about technology and this type of technology certainly than I do. That's the classic narcissism right there.
He's a jack of all trades.
That would be like me being like, I know everything about nursing. I know more about on-call nursing than Michael does. I've never done it, but I just know more about it.
I know more about podcast editing and site design than you will ever know. I know more than I've forgotten more than you'll ever know. Trump, when he got all over that $3 million from Russia to Joe's son, which has already been found by Republicans to say that it was a complete fluff piece.
Yeah,
but he would not stop fucking harping on it.
It's all he has, though. You gotta understand. He has like one or two things he can sort of attack. So of course he's gonna go after those. The thing is with Biden is he has like 100 different things he can mention. So it's difficult. Of course, Trump was gonna bring up Hunter Barron. It's one of the only things he can bring up.
You know, Trump had his life made in the shade. I don't know why he went into politics. He could have kept fucking porn stars. Of course, he knows so much about lawsuits. Why didn't he know to sign the fucking affidavit, the non-disclosure to, what's that blonde bitch that he screwing?
Whoa. Stormy Daniels?
Stormy.
She's a pleasant lady. But
you know, I bet she is. She comes off as she's way smarter than I thought she was after listening to
I
her
heard,
talk to the media.
he said something, or just that his supporters like him even more because he banged a porn star. But I heard what she said about his dick, and that's pretty. You know what I think about him is it's just like a disassociation thing. Is he obviously gets what's it called, spray tan. You can just obviously tell. But he denies that too. It's just like, come on, bro. That's something I noticed about the one narcissist I noticed in my life was. Even when it's obvious, they still deny it. And it's like, they don't understand that people realize it, So they'll keep doing it, but they don't. And I guess maybe it doesn't matter because some people don't care or don't know. So essentially they're like snake oil or used car salesmen or multi-level marketing people. Whereas like, smart people are like, oh, this is dumb. Of course I'm not going to get rich, working for my phone. And then a couple people are like, oh my God, that's awesome. I'm going to get rich, doing Forex or Amway or whatever. And everyone else is just like, are you freaking serious? And that's where the divide is.
It's crazy. I don't. Ignorance is bliss, right?
Well, it's just become very divisive. And, that's what our founding fathers sort of warned against, a two-party system. But how do you I don't know how we would ever get away from it at this point. It just seems like we have people who want to go backwards and people want to go forwards. And then there's radicals on either side. There's the whole cancel culture. Like, oh, you said something 15 years ago. You apologize. You're a different person. But like, too late on the one side. And then on the other side, you just, God, they're such a team, man. And that's the difficult part. Like Democrats. Okay. I remember what I was going to say earlier. Yeah. Democrats, whereas we're like very critical of our candidates, which is, how you should be. Like,
Naturally.
we're disappointed we got Biden, all that stuff. But the other side is just like, fuck yeah, Trump, I love him. Fuck yeah. Like, even though, obviously they could have a way better candidate, but they just jump all on board. They don't care. Whereas we are like very critical of our candidates. They have to be perfect. They can't be too progressive. They can't be not progressive enough. We have all these complaints. So obviously it gives them an advantage.
That's a lot of blue first ladies are also very incredibly outspoken comparatively to their red counterparts.
Oh my God.
Ivanka clearly
Melanie
hates Donald Trump.
Melanie.
Melania, she clearly hates him, and yet she's still standing there quiet to herself, keeps her fucking...
Oh yeah. I love her what's her initiative? It was Be Best when Michelle Obama's was Be Better, right? And then she just had Be Best, and it was just like, this is like the same, but in improper grammar.
Yeah, and she does not do good at hiding her face when she hates the person that was just talking before her. She is just a... Well, at least we can say we saw the first lady's tits, I guess.
Oh, in the airplane shot?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I just saw the picture of her. I didn't know where... I didn't look at the background. I don't know, my friend.
I think this is a good... If you're a Democrat and a liberal, or just anti-Trump or anti-fascism or whatever, Trump, I feel like, really embarrassed himself tonight. It probably won't do much to do anything to people who already support him. In fact, I know it won't. But what you should care about is the moderates and then motivating Democrats. And I think this debate will do that. So moderates, I know some, and at the beginning they were just more like a lot of both sides stuff, but now they're, well, at least I'm just going to say, I don't know a bunch. I know one, and he's very anti-Trump at this point.
I surprisingly know quite a few centralists and
centrists.
Whatever.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm sorry.
They have traditionally went down policy line versus candidates, but they already knew who they were going to vote for before Sleepy Joe even got nominated, because as they've gotten older, they've known they wanted to vote healthcare wise and less tax cuts for the rich. Since they've already had 4 years of Donald Trump, they already knew they weren't going to vote for him. And considering he already did not win the popular vote before, the centrists that I've spoke to are already off that bandwagon. The people that didn't vote in 2012 because they thought it was going to be a landslide, or in 2016 they thought it was going to be a landslide, and it wasn't.
Yeah, in 2018 they should have been voted, so that was good. Yeah, no, I think those people are more motivated to vote. I feel like the pandemic should have been like the greatest wake-up call you could ever have for why you don't elect someone like Trump and just see what happens, Yeah,
what's the worst? How bad could it be?
Yeah, because I didn't vote for him, but I was like, well, let's see what he can do. I was like, okay, I'm proven correct. He fucked everything up, but,
rock
I think
the vote.
This is, yeah, right. I think this is motivating to people. And then people who maybe didn't care or voted third party will realize that, they should actually vote for the candidate that will fuck us up the least. South Park had a good episode.
Talk for a second.
They say, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they had that episode about they were trying to elect a new mascot. It was between a douche and a turd. Oh, no, a turd sandwich and a giant douche. And so it's just like, oh, you're always voting between somebody two people who suck, but really you just got to vote for the person who sucks the least. And Biden, he's not a bad guy. He's awkward and, occasionally says weird things and stuff like that. But I mean, God, I would be way worse than that. And at least I know that he won't fuck up shit. What's this?
It actually came in the mail today.
Oh, nice. You got your ballot. There you go.
Just in case. I had to find out where my voting was because they moved it this year.
Yeah.
They moved it from the annex building to the damn middle school. I worry that there's going to be too many people. The people that took COVID seriously are left. The pollsters have been very right-wing and causing a ruckus locally for the local elections, surrounding people, talking shit, trying not to let them in to vote. It's, whoo.
There's more liberals than when people show up to vote in high numbers. People are surprisingly liberal. And when I say liberal, I mean believe that times change and stuff. Not trying to go back to the way things were. And
back in my day.
Right. Yes. Realize that times are different now than they used to be. Maybe we shouldn't own people as slaves anymore and stuff like that.
Have you heard the story of Republicans saying slavery actually hurt the growth of America?
No, but I have heard them saying that the people who were owned slaves were Democrats, right? That was before the party switched.
Right.
Not a
that
very
was
great
the Southern
argument.
Democrats. Before, we're the only country too that we are the opposite political spectrum wise. Our conservatives are free market trade and our liberals are not. So if you're,
I'm free market trade with regulation because what is going to happen if you have no market oversight is that
monopolies.
Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Apple, they're going to win and they're going to buy up all the companies and you can see how that's going to what's going to happen.
Right. And it's on its way there. I don't know. We do have to change it. I love Amazon. Mostly. Bezos is a piece of shit. Who else
It's all
can
about the
write it?
shipping, dude. Well, who people used to love and turned out to be a piece of shit is Musk, right? He's just really gotten off the
He's
deep end.
weird. He has, for as smart as he is, I'm surprised. I have to worry that I'm thinking he's doing that to drive the stock price down. I feel like he's doing it to market manipulation.
Look what he named his kid. What is the name of his kid? Can you look it up?
It's Ash.
What?
It's Ash.
No, it's like
The AE is pronounced Ash.
I'm looking it up.
It's how it's pronounced. And it's the numbers have a when he described.
I'm gonna spell it. It's all right. I'm spelling it. There. It's an X space, and then there's an A and then an E that are connected. I don't understand that.
That's Ash.
Space A-12.
The A-12 had to do something with something he created.
Okay. He says Musk says the name is pronounced X-A-12.
Well, then I had
Okay,
the
so
Ash
the
part
AE is
right.
the AE is pronounced Ash. But it's X-A-12.
Yeah, the A-12 has to do something like his first vehicle that he ever created or something was like the prototype name.
What's your name? Jeff. What's your name? X-A-12. Okay, cool. Musk. Like fucking like, oh man, that's gonna get old. He's gonna tell people his name's Ash and he's gonna change it.
Let's hope people vote. I hope this is the highest voter turnout.
No. Just vote. All you motherfuckers. Even if you're planning on voting, vote. And not just vote, convince everyone, like the one person that you know that might not vote, make them vote. That's it.
Nicole, go vote. Rock the vote.
Yes, that's the one person I know. And so I'm going to be calling. Can I get Nicole's cell phone number? I'm going to start
put it on
texting
here.
her.
941. Everybody.
Nicole's
just
going to
text
vote,
her.
everyone. Don't get upset. Nicole's going to vote. We're going to make her. Don't worry about it. We got this.
I don't think my mom votes either.
Well,
Debadoo,
okay, we got
need
two
to get out
people
and
now.
vote.
We got two people now.
I
All
don't
right.
think
We're
the
making a
vast-
difference.
The vast majority of people I know don't vote.
Well, you've got a strong reserve of people that we can get to vote. You can make a big difference, my friend.
I can't even convince her to fucking get her name on the registry to get her to send a ballot. She's not registered to vote.
Who?
Nicole.
Oh, man. Think of other things she doesn't do that you could take advantage of. Is her name on the house?
Nope.
Nice. Okay. Put your name on all the credit card. Just kidding. Yeah. No, let's we'll convince her to vote. And then next episode, maybe we'll think of a strategy to get people who don't really care to vote. And we'll think about that. And if you're on Twitter and you're still listening, Michael's dad, let us know how we should get people to vote.
Oh, he's your biggest fan. He told me that again this week. He's like, yep, I really do like that Lowell.
Well, I find that hard to believe, but I appreciate it. Let's talk to tell your dad to tell us what he thinks we should do to get Nicole to vote and the other people that we know so we can actually make a difference with this podcast.
Yeah, we'll rock the vote and I'll see what I can do.
Trump lose the election by like 2-3 votes and we'll be like, we did that. Yes.
Let's make sure that we win the Electoral College first. I don't care if we lose the popular vote. Give us the Electoral College. And then we can finally rub it in people's faces.
Yeah, God. Well, that's just not going to happen because of the way the Electoral College is made.
I mean, there's twice Democrats have lost the vote because of the college.
I know. Can you imagine what things would be like if the Electoral College didn't exist and Gore had won instead of Bush?
Hillary would have beat Donald.
You want to rap?
I do. I do want to rap.
Okay.
This has been the On Call podcast. This has been our first presidential debate discussion. Probably more to come. There's another debate next Tuesday.
Nice. We got to do that one in real time.
If I had streaming capabilities, if you want to host.
When's the internet coming?
They bumped back the date to November 2nd.
Yeah, I can host.
All right, we can do that. Stream and discuss. And I'll just record it and then upload it later for YouTube.
Oh yeah, I can record you via clean feed and do it. Anyway, yeah. Off topic. Let's go.
Raw. All right. This has been the On Call Pod. Have a nice night, motherfuckers. Go out and vote.
Thanks for listening to the On Call Podcast. Check us out on Twitter at OnCallPod. Interested in being a sponsor or want to be on the show? Drop us an email at oncallpod@gmail.com. For more info, go to oncallpod.com.